Hello, welcome to my channel, Inflightmuzik. My name is Ian, and today I'm going to do a quick tutorial on John Legend's Preach. I'll link you to the video down below. In his video, he's actually collecting donations for the Social Impact Fund, and what that is basically a donation where you can help individuals who have been negatively affected by the justice system. So this is my second video this week on a series of melody tutorials. Listening back to this song, I realized that almost all the melodies are actually done by his vocals. That's really cool because this allows me to concentrate more on showing you how important chord progressions are and how they made the song more dramatic by having his vocals be the main melodic feature of the song. That really tells you when you make a song and really concentrate on the actual foundation of it, you can make a really powerful piece of music. The main thing that I want you to notice are the changes in the chord progression. This verse actually does play longer than this. I'm just showing you the changes in the chords, the power of the chords, the power in the instrumentation, the choices of what they decided to do or what John Legend decided to do along with his vocals, because his vocals are the main instrument in the song. So really all of this is just in the background, setting the foundation of the emotion of the song. So the first thing that I did was actually time the tempo of the song, and I reached 92 BPM. Also, I play in the key of G, G major, or E minor, depending on what note or chord I start on. But basically, all you have to do to play along with the exact notes that I'm playing in the piano roll, you can just shift everything up 7 steps or down 5 steps. Or you could go into this mini piano roll in your channel settings if you have FL Studio and just click F4. I basically have 3 different versions of the same organ, and that's because the organ changes the chord progression throughout the song. And you'll also notice all the instruments that I'm using are from Expand 2, so I'll go ahead and show you these presets as I move along. The first one, the organ, is from the organ section, and it's called Wavetable Organ 2. So you can actually learn a lot from this chord progression here because it actually shows one of the techniques that I showed in my trap chord progressions video, where you're not just playing the chords statically. There's some rhythm in the chords. So right here at the end of the 4 bars, you'll see that there's just a little rhythm movement in the same chord. So this chord is played twice just for a split second, and then it moves into the final chord. And that just gives a little bit of emotion, a little bit of feeling, and obviously some rhythm in the chord structure. So after that, we have the build up to the chorus. And you'll notice that these chords are slightly different. Here's the chords for the verse, and here's the chords for the bridge. But we're still keeping the same foundation of notes in the main chords here, but we're just changing these chords just a little bit to play a higher note. And these aren't inversions, so these aren't the same exact notes of the original chords. So you'll see here that this C4 actually becomes a B, but it's moved up. So even though it's playing a lower note, it's actually playing that lower note higher, which gives a little bit more emotion. So let's go ahead and listen to that. So a really cool thing that happens here, you'll see that both of these are the same note. They're both A, but this is an inversion. They're just flipped in position. So at the beginning, it's played lower. At the end, it's played higher, which gives a buildup of emotion once again before we get to the chorus. Now this chord right here is a major chord, and we started the chord progression with a minor chord. So ending in this major chord just gives a nice little turnaround. It just feels like everything's at peace, everything is finished. All the negative feeling that we're feeling in these chords are completely diminished by this major chord that ends this entire chord progression. That's something that you really want to think about when you're making chord progressions. What emotion are you actually getting from each chord? And when you start thinking about things in terms of sad, happy, lonely, full of life, fulfilling, that's when you're going to start actually paying attention to what chords you actually want to place in. And a lot of people think that you have to have all these crazy notes to make these gigantic chords. These are all just three note chords, just triads. I feel like people forget that triads can be powerful enough for you to make a really emotional song. Most songs are just using triads. So if you're going with additional chords, trying to play fifths and sevenths, that's actually more rare than what you would think. And here we have a song that you could possibly place in the genre of gospel, and these chords are still just basic triads. So it's about the instrumentation, the vocalist, more than how complex the chords are. So you might have heard this piano that was playing in the background, but really this piano doesn't play all the way through. It just comes in at the very end. So I'm going to delete all of this, and then I'm going to go back to the chorus, and I'm going to delete the very end. And now let's take a listen to what that feels like, what that sounds like. So it goes from that dark, ominous, melancholic organ with the minor chords, and then everything just brightens up with the piano and the major chord that plays at the very end. So you're getting a lot of extra emotion because of the instrumentation of it, not just what the chords are doing. So another thing that they add in the chorus is a slight pad, but I went ahead and went with a choir. The choir that I'm using is called Soft Hybrid Pad in the choir section. So even though it's still technically a choir that I'm adding in, it sounds a lot like a pad, just like what they have in the song, because in the song, it sounds almost like a pad, almost like a choir. So I just felt like this really does justice to what's going on in the chorus. So what I'm going to do here is copy the notes in the chorus, and I'm going to add this to the pad. Go into the piano roll, add it to the pad, and then I'm going to add this into the chord progression. Another thing that I want to note about this piano, it actually has a little bit of a pad behind it. So that's kind of why I chose that piano, because you could see that it does have a soft pad on top of it, or underneath it, I should say. That helps with the extra emotion that that piano is giving off for sure. So another thing that gets added in is a guitar. So basically what happens, we actually have this playing twice. Okay, so this is what it actually does look like with just the changes in the song from verse to bridge to a double chorus with the ending with the piano. So now what I'm going to do for the guitar, I'm going to copy all of the notes in the choir, which are the same exact notes in the chorus. So again, this really tells you how simple that this chord progression really is. It's just a lot of layering. They really focus on John Legend's voice to really carry the song, and then using instrumentation to build up the emotion. So let's go ahead and switch to a new pattern. Add this into our electric guitar for the chords, and the preset that I'm using for these chords is the distorted guitar inside of the guitars section of Expand. What we're going to do now is add in this lead electric guitar, and this preset is distorted lead, and again in the guitar section. And what we're going to do, we're just going to take these top notes of these chords here, and we're going to use that for this electric guitar lead. Move it up 1 octave. So I'm going to highlight all of this and hit Control and up. It just adds a little bit of extra high-end texture to that chord progression. That pretty much covers the emotion that you get from the John Legend song Preach. And it's basically just the power of this chord progression, the change up that it has, the instrumentation of the layering in the chorus, and the dropout at the very end with the piano coming in, and the embellishment that the piano has with the pads that are underneath there. Definitely go check out that song if you haven't already, because it's a really powerful song, not just in the music, but in the message itself. So it's not a surprise to me that he picked instrumentation like this, or, you know, wrote instrumentation like this. I'm pretty sure he writes all of his songs. It makes sense that he would go along with this type of chord progression for the message that he was trying to convey. So again, definitely go ahead and check out his video. The link is down below, and he is accepting donations for the Social Injustice Fund. And again, that's for people that have been negatively impacted in their lives from our justice system. The link to their website is down below as well. So you have 2 different sources there for you to get more information. And as always, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, leave me a comment down below, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Subscribe if you haven't already. Peace.